This week on Habari Live. This week on Habari Live.
Interview with Dee Nova, owner of Nova Consulting. Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Tune in on all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Don't miss this episode. We'll be all the way live.
Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live. Habari Live. From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast. The show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Iesha, Jimmi, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
Yo. Good morning. We are thrilled to bring you another edition of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the Pulse of Phoenix and beyond. Like always, we are all the way live from Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Damon Dipleen Ellison.
Iesha.
And we'll be your guide through exciting stories and everyday happenings in your vibrant community. So welcome to the Habari Live podcast. Yes. Today we're going to explore stories of inspiration and empowerment. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Dee Nova, the owner of Nova Consulting, a firm dedicated to fostering diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging in the workplace. Dee, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming through and bringing your intelligence to the forum. So let's get right into it, man.
Yeah.
Your mission at Nova Consulting is to empower teams to reach their goals through unconventional thinking and customized solutions rooted in DIE principles.
Yeah.
Can you share more about what drives your passion for this work?
Oh, absolutely. So innately, I'm just very much a person that believes that we all have unique gifts that allow us to add value in our own unique way in whatever space that we're in, right? And through the work that I did in corporate, I was in corporate trading and development for years before starting my business. I recognized there was just this one big thing that people would tend to ignore, that we are all individually gifted. And typical corporate trainings are, here's a textbook, or here's this 1 hour training, here's your laptop, have fun.
Right.
And it's like, well, where does the culture fit in? Like, where do you actually embrace this person into your corporate culture? Do you even have a corporate culture?
Right.
What is that corporate culture? Like, what are the principles and the values that you guys actually live by? How do you embody that when you are onboarding people? And once they are there, how do you make sure that the people that you've hired are skilled and supported enough to thrive in the roles that they're in?
Yeah.
So the unfortunate thing with D&I, and I know if you're on LinkedIn, every other day there's an article about D&I has to die.
Oh, man.
And and what's wild about that is there is absolutely nothing wrong with D&I. What is wrong right now is how D&I was implemented in corporate, right? People were focusing on things as basic as, gender, race, age. And it's like, no. D&I is literally saying, hey, when you have a space where you have different people, how do you make sure that space that encompasses different people, diversity, is inclusive?
Right.
So those people actually feel safe being there and feel productive.
Right.
It's equitable, meaning that you meet people where they are with their different skill sets, and then you coach them up to where they need to be if they're not quite there yet. And they feel like they belong. Because when people feel like they belong in a space, they are very much productive, which corporate tends to care a lot about. Any company cares about productivity. You wouldn't hire people if you didn't want them to be productive. But if you are not taking care of your people, your numbers will never be where you need them to be.
Right.
And there's so much research behind. Why did I just say research like that? My tongue did a weird thing, and I was like, wait a minute. But there's so much research that lends to the fact that companies that embrace corporate diversity, equity, and belonging tend to actually perform better than those that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the stats, and I know I geek out about this stuff, so I actually look at the numbers, it is frightening to learn how many managers don't even get training on how to manage. So if you're just an individual contributor, you are able to do your job. That's lovely. We love that for you. Do
Right.
your job. But the moment that you get promoted to a managerial position where you now have to manage other humans,
That's right.
there's a certain level of skill set and just emotional intelligence that needs to be there for you to do that correctly.
That's real.
That's missing. So in creating Nova Consulting, my mission is to help correct that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, because I think too many people, when they become managers, they're just learning on the job.
100%.
And most people are doing that. They're learning the job. They're taking their lumps as they learn them. And sometimes that can people can lose confidence in the manager, because the manager doesn't seem to know certain things that you feel as though that they should already know, because they are the manager. But the manager's like, hey, I'm learning. This is what it was going on. Just give me a moment to make sure. But like I said, sometimes you can lose confidence in that person, and that can overall hurt the structure of the company, can hurt the morale. People doesn't want to work for that person. So it's definitely things that you have to think about when you're becoming a manager. How can I make sure that I'm being inclusive? How can I make sure that I'm not stepping on toes in other people's cultures? And those things need to be learned. And I don't know why people think that's such a big deal. That people want that in the job place.
Yeah.
But it, to me, is just like another thing on the list after the affirmative action was taken off. Let's go after this next, because we feel as though people are being hired because they are trying to be diverse, not because the person deserves it.
Yeah.
And that's just adding to the diversity.
Right. Yeah.
They're taking a backwards approach on it of, oh, they're just being hired because they're diverse,
right,
not because they're diverse and they're good at their job,
right,
which is a terrible, terrible, terrible way of going at things. And it's just adding on to the racism that we have in this country. And it's a bad situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think also just right now with everything else that's going on, I feel like a lot of people of color, especially Black people, and Black women specifically, I like just looking at the headlines between Dr. Gray, what happened late last year when they had to go to that hearing, and there was another, I forget her name, but there was like a college administrator that committed suicide. And in her note, she mentioned that, it was from the pressure from her job. She had reached out for support and did not get it.
Right.
And every other day we come across stories, just horrific stories of how people experience microaggressions and how that just makes the workplace even that much more harder. You already have the stress of your job. You should not be stressing about your manager not being able to recognize and correct microaggressions either in themselves or in your peers. Right. But if leaders don't know that this is what to look for and this is how to correct it, they're not going to have the tools that they need to make the right decisions and advocate for you and act on your behalf.
That's real.
So yeah,
that's what I 100% agree, because we just have to educate.
Yeah.
Some people, you don't come from the areas that's really diverse. You may come from a background, a town that doesn't have a lot of different people in it. So sometimes you need to learn. Just saying it's a blanket statement that these things, DEI doesn't work and is bad for everyone. We have to do more to try to be more helping of others, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the American way to just automatically hate is just, we have to change that. So can you tell us about a particular memorable project, a success story that illustrates the impact of your approach?
Oh, so I'm a huge advocate for reinforced learning. Again, I geek out about behavioral sciences, so a lot of the things that I do have like research backing it. If you take a class today, like typical corporate training is like an hour, 2-hour course, and you sit there and you watch the video, you take the quiz, and you're off on your way, and that's the end, right? We don't retain information that way.
We do not.
Yeah. Within the first 24 hours of you learning something, you've already lost 75% of what you've learned.
Every bit of it.
And as time goes on, if you don't reinforce it, either by baking what you've learned into your processes or having a coach support you in helping you reinforce those lessons, you've pretty much wasted an hour or two of your time and a lot of corporate dollars.
Definitely.
So my huge approach is helping companies create a corporate culture of coaching and learning, because that's how you actually reinforce those things. My most recent project, I was working with a company out in Philadelphia. The team was underperforming and not meeting their targets. And when I typically walk into a space, I ask one of several questions. Am I looking at a people issue, a management issue, a tech issue, or a process issue? 9 out of 10 is a management issue. 9 out of 10 is a management issue. But there have been times when it's a process and tech issue, right? So taking that full-prong approach in helping companies fix what's wrong has really helped me in how I do things. But this team wasn't meeting their stats. They had a leader who was passionate about sales, but his approach to managing, especially younger millennials and Gen Zs, they expect so much more from their leaders, was just not cracking it. So it was almost like he was beating a dead horse with his team. And I'm like, well, why don't we try something different?
Right.
So we worked on, recreating some of their training. That was helpful. And including some of the sales techniques that they just assumed people have. That's another thing. Like, why do we make assumptions about what people come in with? Like, if I'm hiring for a sales role and you have a background in sales, I want to be able to do a test to make sure that what you deem as good sales techniques match what I need from you.
That's real.
Right? I'm not going to assume that you have what I need and just keep it moving. And in customer service, people will hire people that have customer service experience and just assume that their customer service experience meets their standards. It's like, no, you have to teach people what you want them to know, because you can't inspect what you don't know to expect. So teach them. So we did that. And within 3 months, the team had met their goals for the first time in 2 years. And that was great. Wow. That was great. I mean, it's easy for someone like a consultant to come in with an outside perspective, right? Because sometimes my brain just went something that an old boss said to me. He's like, you can't smell yourself, right? Like you are nose blind to your own scent. But when somebody that's different comes in, they're able to pick up on what's off or what's working. So as a consultant, I have the pleasure and joy of actually doing that with companies that I work with. That I'll come in and I'll say, okay, cool, show me what you're doing. Right. And after observing, I'm able to say, oh, this is where you have your bottlenecks. This is probably what you need to change, and we can play around. I do very well with companies that are in a space to change, because when I come in as an outsider and your corporation is not ready for a disruptor, there's going to be constant friction that's just going to take away from so much energy that we could be spending on fixing the problem versus me convincing you that you have the problem. That you have the problem. Right. Like, please.
That's real. And I know that's have to be a huge part of it, is people accepting the what you're telling them, and being able to say, hey, yes, maybe we need to move this into a everyday practice, instead of just saying, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, we see this all the time with the food shows. Gordon Ramsay, he has to fight the owner of the restaurant, because I know people are proud of what they built.
Yes.
People are proud of what they've done. They're proud of the business that they made and the places they got to. So sometimes it takes a person you have to take an ego hit sometimes, and you have to realize that, hey, I can learn more to be better. Yeah. And I know I've gotten to this point, but I can learn a little bit more that can make me even better, when I can be more successful down the road. And you have to definitely check your ego in them situations. And that sounds like a comprehensive approach. And we really, as a consultant and a leadership coach, what do you see as the biggest challenges organizations face in embracing diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging?
Not having metrics attached to the D&I work that you're doing will have you feeling like you're spinning your wheels and not seeing results.
Right.
Focusing solely on the aesthetics of D&I hurts more than it helps. Do not hire a whole bunch of people of color into your corporate organization when your culture does not have room to embrace them and everything that they come with.
Okay.
And I'm using specifically people of color. Like there are different, what's the word I'm looking for? Demographics, right? That can be at place here. But don't hire people into a space simply because you want the optics of D&I, because that doesn't help anyone at all. That's right. Yeah, it may look good, but the people that have to come to your place of work every day are leaving stressed and unhappy, nobody needs that.
Right.
Right. So, and there also tends to be a huge disconnect between what the C-suite thinks is happening and what's actually happening in their actual teams.
Right.
There needs to be more communication up and down. I think having things like 360 meetings definitely helps. Skip levels helps.
Definitely.
Please measure your KPIs around D&I. The most basic one is like your ENPS, which is like your employee net promoter score. So Gallup does these surveys that most big companies do, and you don't have to be a big company to get numbers like your employee satisfaction ratings. You can just do an in-house survey.
Okay.
Just do an in-house survey that's anonymous and look at the feedback. Right. Use that data to inform what you need to work on. So it's those things I think are the biggest barriers to them getting it right. They're measuring the wrong things, and if they are measuring anything at all. Right. So if they're measuring anything at all, it's the wrong thing. But it's like, no, you need to find out what your employee sentiment is. How do they feel about how you manage? And try to get as much demographic information from the people that are actually inputting their data, so you know how certain things and certain parts of your corporate culture impact certain groups within your company.
Right. Man, it's definitely so imperative in building a successful organization and making sure that you are diverse and you are inclusive. I mean, like I said, man, it's so crazy to see so many people against this right now. And we have Elon Musk talking about it badly. It's so many powerful people that's talking about this in a bad manner. And it's just a way to manage the people that you have in your organization to make sure that they are heading in the right direction and they have opportunities just like the rest of the people.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't understand how that's a bad thing.
It is.
It's not stepping over merit. It's not saying that merit doesn't matter. It's just saying that those that has met the merit requirements and they happen to be Black or of color or of whatever minority, that they have opportunity. What's bad about that? I mean, it's amazing to see people so upset.
An example that I use often in D&I training is when you order a keyboard, what side are the numbers?
It's always on the right.
So do left-handed people have to just figure it out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be as deep as race, guys.
Right.
Right. You're going to have left-handed people on your team, but do managers actually have enough conversations with their people to know if someone is left or right-handed before you send them company equipment?
It's not even discussed.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm not saying you have to accommodate every single thing. But if something impacts someone being able to do their job effectively, it is your role as a leader to make sure that that is taken care of.
That is real. That is all the way real. So I want to ask you a couple of personal questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
What brings you, where are you from? And tell us a little bit about your history.
Born and raised in South Africa. I moved to the U.S., almost 20 years ago now.
Okay.
I lived upstate New York for a minute, and then I moved to Phoenix in 2019. The company I was with at the time had me traveling back and forth, and those 9-hour travel days were just killing me. So I was like, I'll just move out to the desert. It's fine. I was like, it's okay. There's nothing but dirt there. Mind you, that was my perception of Phoenix. No more. I've since learned to love the desert.
Right.
But yeah, coming from upstate New York, where it's like lush and green and, by the Hudson River. And then I come to Phoenix and it's just like
desert.
I'm like, well, guess I'll figure it out. I spent one spring here and I fell in love with desert foliage and vegetation. I was like, okay, this is dope. And I went to Sedona. Sedona sold Phoenix with me.
Man, it's beautiful.
I was like, I'm 2 hours away from here.
Yeah, man.
Fine, I'll move.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, that's how I ended up here. And as far as just how I ended up doing what I'm doing, I've always known that I am a great follower, but even better leader. right? Like I understand that for me to lead, I have to learn.
That's
so
real.
I understand being able to play that position for a while, but I can't stay there forever because I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Because like once I know how to do something and once I can pull something apart and put it back together again quicker, better, and faster, you can't tell me what to do at that point.
Right.
And I just need to go.
Right. So
so I was like, okay, fine. What role would work best for this brain and how it works? I was like, you know what? Think about consulting. So when I went to grad school, I majored in organizational behavior. I've always been curious about the way humans human with each other.
Yeah.
I was raised by an Oprah mom.
Right.
Right. So like if you guys had Oprah moms, you guys know what that was like. My mom got me Tony Robbins's Awakening the Giant Within when I went to boarding school. And that book collected dust until I was in my 20s. But she got it. I'm pretty sure like I paged through it. I was like, okay, great. Motivation, inspiration. I love this for everybody. Go do teenage stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so that's really just that's those are the things that kind of help make up who this person is. So when I majored in org behavior, that made sense for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fine, I'll be a consultant. I'll go in, help companies fix their people problems and get out. And that's literally what I ended up doing.
Man, it's so inspiring.
Oh, thanks.
Because you're very intelligent. I love the way your whole demeanor is just awesome. I just really love the way you hold yourself and everything.
Oh, thank you.
And it's so I want others to see this, so other Black women can see this, because I know it's a lot of Black women doing a lot of different things, but I haven't met a lot of women that's doing consulting. I know you're probably one of the few Black women that's doing this that you've seen, because I have not heard of many myself doing this. So I mean, it's really, really dope. And I hope others can, see this and be inspired by you, because that is really awesome. And to know the ins and outs of how to run a company and how to keep things together, how the best movements for a manager and what's best for companies, those are things that we need to learn more, because we have to realize that customer service, how we treat people, how we manage people, how we do things, these are how we build successful companies. 100%. And that's a big part of it. Yeah. And it's imperative to learn those things to be able to move your companies forward, and us as a people. We need to learn these things. These are things we have to learn to realize that it's a bigger picture than just small businesses. You have to be able to get to a point where you have a big organization, and then you learn how to implement these things and be more inclusive yourself as a Black company. You bringing in all type of other people.
Yeah.
You have to learn these things. And I think this is really, really exciting thing to learn. Lastly, I want to ask, what advice would you give organizations looking to enhance their commitment to DIEB principles?
Focus more on the outcome that you want for your company. Yes, there's going to be a process, right? Yes, there has to be a strategy, but base your strategy on the outcome. So start with, where do I want to be in a year as far as my corporate culture? Don't even call it D&I.
Okay.
Just say, where do I want to be in a year's time as far as my corporate culture? And be honest. Be honest. If you're a single owner, that's just your decision to make. It's just you. If you're a part of a board, then discuss it with the board and get a consensus, right? Whatever the process is. But we all have to be honest with ourselves about our intentions, and then build a strategy to get you there. Now, what that strategy is going to encompass is going to depend on what you're trying to achieve. Right. And if you are honest with yourself about what you want to achieve, you also have to be honest with yourself about what you need to do to get there.
That's real.
Right. If you can't be honest with yourself about the things that you don't get right, then you've just wasted everybody's time. Don't bother. Don't bother. Like, my favorite guy right now, unpopular opinion, is the Lululemon guy. The CEO of Lululemon. Well, I don't even know if he's still the CEO of Lululemon. But the guy that created Lululemon is one of my favorite humans on the planet, because I know that I will never support his brand. I will never work for him. And I will never encourage people to even look at that brand, because he's a horrible human being. But he's very open about it. The man has said things like, he named the brand Lululemon because he knew that saying L was hard for Asian people. Like, he literally said that. Wow. And then he's also said that his brand is not made for poor people. So I'm like, okay, thank you for being honest.
Right.
So now I can just take my money and my attention elsewhere. Like, I know I never have to worry about you.
Mm-hmm.
The people that we have to worry about are the people that say, I'm for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you get there and that's not the case.
And that's not the real.
So you need to really be honest with yourself about where you stand on certain things, understand where those things are helping or hurting you, address the things that are hurting you, amplify the ones that are helping you, and get a team around you that can keep things going.
That's real.
Simply saying, I want to create a diverse culture, and then you have a one-day training for your team is not going to cut it.
Mm-mm.
Because you are dealing with changing human behavior.
That's real.
Human behavior is not an on and off switch. It is more like a dial. There are going to be days where you dial forward and it's great. There are days when you're going to fall back. But when you fall back, you need to have that thing, that trigger, that support system that says, hey, we're going backwards. We need to be trending forward.
Right.
So things like having a coach or a coaching element in your organization is definitely going to be helpful. Bring people in that have different opinions, different perspectives than your own.
That's real.
Right. So just depending on how long people have been in a certain environment, you all start to kind of have groupthink, whether you want to admit it or not.
That's real.
Right. We tend to hang around the most with people that think and act like us. So when you've done that enough, you need an outside perspective. Right. So step 1, be honest about what you want to do. Step 2, create a strategy that helps you amplify your strengths and work on your weaknesses. Make sure that you have a system of support to keep you on track.
Real.
Because it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen with the 1-hour training every year.
That's real. And then, those, like you said, those trainings are in and out. So you have to live this 365 throughout the year.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you talk about this amongst your people all the time. You have little things that you may put up on the TVs to show that how inclusive you are. You have to build that. You cannot just run one video a year. We all watch videos, 2, 3 videos a day, and then answer some questions, and then you forget about it the rest of the year. So I agree with you 100% on that. Let's take a quick break, bro. We're going to be right back with more Dee Nova and Nova Consultants. Yeah.
This week's Habari News Weekly with Damon Dipling Ellison. Sponsored by
info@habarientertainment.com. You don't have to turn that off. All right, man, let's get straight into the news this week. We appreciate you, Dee. But if you want to anything while we're talking about this, you can just let us know your opinion.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's all open forum on this. We want to talk about Kamala Harris hammers Trump on abortion in Arizona on her visit. The state Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that an 1864 near total ban on abortion is enforceable. Vice President Harris criticizes Trump's role in abortion ban, ruling Vice President. She delivered a scathing critique of former Donald Trump's during her visit to Arizona on Friday, condemning his influence on the recent near-total abortion ban enforced by the state Supreme Court. Harris' remarks in Tucson underscored the escalating tensions surrounding reproductive rights in Arizona, a crucial battleground state. In a fiery speech addressing the contentious issues of reproductive rights, Kamala Harris took aim at former President Trump, labeling him as the architect of the healthcare crisis. Harris' visit to Arizona comes in the wake of Supreme Court ruling which upheld the, like I said, 1864 near total abortion ban, sparking nationwide debate and concerns over women's access to essential healthcare services. So, man, this is going to be a big fight that's going to come up here when we vote here in November. It's in the ballot on, I think, 14 states right now. They want to push it off to state rights and everything, but we all know that if they get a chance, that they will make this a federal ban if they can. So you got to think about what you're doing and what you're about, and make your decision on that. Um, it's been drawing a lot of attention to Trump's past remarks advocating punitive measures against women seeking abortions. Harris reiterated the Biden administration's commitment to safeguarding women's anatomy over their own bodies, autonomy over their own bodies. Joe Biden and I trust women to know what is their best own interests, he declared, rallying support for reproductive freedom ahead of the upcoming elections in November. And like I said, man, it's going to be a huge deal. A lot of women will be coming out to vote and make their voices heard. And I just really don't understand. This has been a losing fight so far. I think it was 9 states so far that they've lost already this battle. So for them to make this election this November this big of a deal and pushing it more and more abortion rights to the side, it's going to be really tough, man, to beat women this coming November, because 90% of the women in if I saw it right, it was only 10% that thought the ban should stay in place. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those are really bad numbers for the Republican Party. We try to stay middle of the ground, but on these, but this is a situation where we know that, I mean, most people don't agree with this.
I honestly think the more concerning issue is the fact that this is a law that was enacted in the 1800s.
Right.
It is 2024.
What
are we doing?
I know, man. It's insane.
What are we doing?
We're going back to a law that was enacted 50 years before women were even able to vote.
Right. And black people couldn't vote either. We were still slaves.
Right.
Civil War wasn't over with yet.
Exactly.
So,
Juneteenth hadn't even happened
right,
yet.
Exactly.
What are we doing? I have a take that to run for, okay, number one, if you're a young person that is interested in politics, and not necessarily politics, actually let's move away from politics. If you're a young person that is interested or curious about just how society runs,
mm-hmm.
and by way of politics, please look into how you can run.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, this is not being ageist. There is a book called The Fourth Turning that I think everybody should read. It is so insightful about how societies go through these cycles, and each generation is born at a certain time,
mm-hmm.
and that generation's role is different from its predecessor, like the preceding generation.
Right.
It's called The Fourth Turning.
Okay.
I think that for anyone to sit in office, they should not be more than 2 generations removed from the youngest generation of that society.
Man.
Because right now you have people that think a law from the 1800s should be enacted. I can't think. That 10% number threw me off. What?
Right.
What woman is sitting there going, yay, take away women's rights to choose what to do with their bodies? Man. Madam, are you well?
Right.
Like, are you okay?
Like, you okay with just telling another woman, you got to have it, even if it kills you, you got to have it.
True. Even if it kills you, you have to have it. And in the economy that we live in, people can't afford to have children.
Man, it's a bad decision.
Right? Like, you are forcing women into situations that are going to financially harm them.
Mm-hmm.
And then these laws aren't even paired up with other laws that help support this decision.
Right.
It's like we're just looking at this one thing very narrowly without necessarily looking at how it connects to everything else. So I'm sorry, until you figure out things like maternity leave, until you figure things out like free healthcare,
that's real,
a quality education system, maybe banning guns so kids don't die during recess.
Man.
Like, until you figure those things out, please don't tell women what to do with their wombs.
Dude. That's 100%. I mean, it's insane.
That's all I've been saying.
The poor women, and we know how we'll talk about this a lot later. Single motherhood is a big problem that we have in America. So we have these women who can't afford to have kids by themselves. And the way the world, the society is now, it's not the way it used to be where everybody's getting married. It's not happening like that. So more and more women are being single mothers. So we're gonna live them on their own, and then we don't want to give them any help. We don't want to give them aid.
The
we don't want
more
to give them
single
healthcare.
mothers you have, the more women and children that are going to be part of the system.
Right.
They're going to be receiving state or federal aid.
That's right. And these are all things that they are against.
Exactly. And then you create this microcosm of just dysfunction.
And then they continue to take funding away from those programs every year.
Ditto. And now a lot of states are also just criminalizing being unhoused. So you're gonna have people that are homeless, where it's like now it's a crime to be homeless. Like, what are we doing? What is the end game here?
Yeah, I'm really getting confused on what they're trying to do, but this will empower and invoke a lot of people to get up, get out, and vote.
Please do.
Because I don't think I think it's going to be a lot larger margin than it was last time when Biden won Arizona. Yeah. Because this here is something that people really think is something that they're going to keep trying to take away more and more. So,
and they've already garnered enough signatures before the deadline even happened for them to even get it on the ballot.
Wow.
Right.
Like almost double the signatures they needed is what they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think about 300 some odd seats are going to be up on the ballot this November.
Yeah.
If you live in a state where you can still there's a closed and open ballot system, right, in the U.S. and some states have an open, some systems have a closed ballot. But if you have an open ballot in your state and you are able to actually nominate someone that is not your everyday politician and get people behind that person, please do that. Because
the grassroots,
the grassroots work actually matters more. I think too many of us focus on the presidential election versus who's sitting in Congress and your local elections, and that actually matters more. So guys, if you are interested in any of this stuff, go out there, get involved, connect to the people, your community leaders. There are people that have been doing this work. There is no need to recreate the wheel. Just get plugged in with those people and see how you can be effective and, bring about the change that we need. Because right now, the people that are in power are not working for us.
That's real. That's 100%. Let's move on to this next story here. We got Biden administration closes the gun show loophole with the new ATF rule. The administration took a significant step in gun control measures on Thursday, announcing the closure of widely criticized gun show loophole. The move, implemented by the ATF, tightens the definition of what it means to be arranged in the business of selling firearms, marking a significant shift in federal regulations surrounding gun sales. In the decisive move aimed at bolstering firearm regulation, the Biden administration unveiled a new rule designed to close the notorious gun show loophole, a contentious issue on the ongoing debate over gun control. The rule, enacted by the ATF, refines the definition of who qualifies as in being engaged in business of selling firearms, thereby subjecting more sellers to federal oversight and background check requirements. I think this is a good thing. I know some people are not going to agree with it. I know a lot of people think that that guns should be bought and sold wherever, whoever, and it shouldn't be any federal government in it. But the amount of kids getting shot up, the amount of school massacres, the amount of massacres at bars, and we can't go anywhere, man. So we have to do something.
Say, I'm a gun seller. Just meet me at the gun show, and I can sell you your gun without doing a background check. That's just,
it's crazy.
It's astonishing.
The thing is that
I'm just like
the gun shows. They go city to city, they go state to state, so they go in different states. So basically, what they were saying was trying to get around is that they don't have to do this in every state, but if it's a federal thing that they have to do, then they have to do it. So I mean, leaving it up to the states was leaving these guys out and that's loophole. That's why it was a loophole, because every state has different laws on what they want
for
not
what
done.
their
Right.
sellers can
So
do.
if you put in the federal law like they have done, this should close that loophole.
So now all gun show sellers will now have
they
to
will have to do
perform
a
background check
checks on that gun and send it to you
on
later.
that person.
You know, I mean, the checks take what, 3-4 days, 7 days, something like that.
I think it's
Good.
like a 10-day wait.
Good. Because people going to get these guns and then immediately doing crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I know it's not everyone, but it's too many.
Yeah.
And if you care about your fellow humans, then this would be just something that's can be done, and it's not going to hurt you that bad that you have to wait a week. You wait a week to get your stuff from Amazon. Why is it a big deal that these people want their guns immediately? Right. I you know how I feel about it. So I just I wish that we would do more to get the guns off the streets. Like I say all the time, the more guns Americans have, the more guns criminals have, because they get their guns from you.
They go purchase illegally.
No,
they purchase legally.
No, they steal them from you.
Right.
They break into your house. You buy them legally. You take them home, and then the criminals
come in.
They come in and take it.
They take them from the people who buy them
right.
legally.
That's how it works. You think they just make illegal guns? No, man. They're stealing them from you, and then it go into the streets. That's why now, since everybody have access to guns, there's more guns on the streets than ever, because everyone has a gun in their home.
I think the police should be behind
more adamant about being against guns. Yeah.
Doing more gun buybacks and things like that, and trying to remove some of the guns off of the streets than what they are.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the impetus for this regulatory overhaul stemmed from the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was passed in 2022 to enhance gun safety measures, building upon the provisions of this bipartisan legislation. The Biden administration moved to address loopholes in existing gun laws that allowed individuals to evade stringent background checks and license requirements. The proposed rules, which initially introduced in September 2023, underwent a rigorous public review process, garnering feedback from over 3,000 individuals. This is an extensive public engagement, underscored the significance of the issue, facilitated a comprehensive understanding of the diverse perspectives surrounding gun regulation. And like I say all the time, man, guns, it's a tough discussion. Everybody, it's America. Everybody has guns, hunting, whatever they're doing. But we have to think about the cities. They have a different perspective on guns than you do in the rural areas. So I think those areas should be policed different. The law should be different for those areas, because they're hunting turkeys. They're doing things that we're not doing in the city.
Right.
So I do think that we should hold those two to different laws and different rules. But these loopholes in the gun shows, they have to be closed. And I think this should also be done when you're selling guns to your friend, because you can do that. You can sell a gun to your partner. But to me, if you wanted a gun and I had one, I can just sell it to you, and there's no background check. It has to be done. That's the way it is still. It should have to be facilitated at a DMV, or like we do for cars, where you have to sign that registration over, and then it has to be stamped by someone saying this is official.
Right,
that is
notarized.
That notarizes the sale. These sales should not be able to be happening in the back door rooms where people can just get guns from their cousin and uncle and go shoot up someone.
Okay, so I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, like, you could just sell another person your gun without having to do any. I mean, if stores can do it, I suppose.
Yep. Unfortunately, man, you can sell and a lot of people, have guns that way. That's how they bought guns. So they don't have to do anything to let anybody know that they bought them from that person. They just buy them.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, it's a lot of loopholes that needs to be closed.
Yeah.
That can keep Americans safer and keep less guns off the streets. What you got?
A hot mess.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's All right, let's do this. We're gonna talk about the Run that video that we had, Jimmy. Did you download it? There you go.
Y'all call it the Meg Thee Stallion challenge, but to be honest, I think it's just yet another way for women to devalue themselves. And ladies, I'm not gonna hold y'all. At this point, it's given tacky and it's given classless. I think I speak for pretty much everybody when I say we're tired of seeing it. It's played out. There is no reason why we should log onto social media and at the top part where it says stories, there's nothing but a bunch of naked women, half-naked women, thongs, panties, short shorts, twerking and showing their ass. For what? What is y'all doing this for? Likes? Attention? Validation? If I'm not mistaken, y'all just did this a few months ago. Y'all had a whole challenge where y'all called it the ceiling challenge, where y'all was taping y'all phones to the ceiling and y'all was twerking upside down. We done seen y'all ass from every single angle possible. We get it. Then y'all say, oh, it's just the internet. It's not a real place. This is a real place. Y'all don't care how y'all perceive yourselves. Y'all don't care that what y'all look like. You know what this looks like? It looks classless and it looks tacky as hell. Most of y'all are moms. Y'all don't care what y'all kids think. Y'all don't care what y'all kids might look like. Y'all don't care about y'all image to them. Y'all talking about a challenge. Challenge yourself to be a better mom. Challenge yourself to be a better woman. Challenge yourself to be a better sister, a better auntie. Go challenge yourself to read a book. Challenge yourself in ways that's healthy for you. Y'all want to keep getting up here selling yourselves short for likes and attention for what? I'm not saying you gotta be a nun, baby. I show skin. I'm not a nun. I still have fun with my girls. I still be outside. I do all of that. But it's never been about what you do. It's how you do it. Men used to have to go to a strip club to see stuff like this, to fantasize about stuff like this, to desire women to move in certain ways like this. But now all they got to do, the whole world is a stage at this point. All they got to do is log on to social media and it's a million girls shaking their ass, doing all type of stuff, trying to outdo each other. Because who y'all doing it for? Oh, we ain't doing this for the man. Who you doing it for then? Y'all got to stop and think, man. Because it's not giving what y'all think is giving. It's given very low quality. No man of high quality, the man that y'all desire, the man that y'all swear y'all want, I promise you, he gonna treat you nothing like what you want to be treated like, because no man wants to see that woman up there or a woman up there that he looking at to pursue in a serious way, shaking her ass 24/7 on the internet like that. Y'all want to be quick to say we not doing it for the man, but baby, one day you gonna want a man and he not gonna want you. Because in 2024, you up there shaking your ass for likes and attention. It's not that deep, man. I don't know if y'all lacking some type of self-esteem or what, man. But y'all gonna have to pull back and reevaluate some stuff. It's not cute no more, y'all. It's played out. Stop. Please stop.
Hey. She's talking that real, man. What she was speaking is 100% real stuff. I mean, nowadays
was arguing with me saying that she was contradicting herself because she was showing
right, but that don't mean she has to show it online. She can show skin. There's different things, levels of. You can show skin. That don't mean you have to put your butt online shaking. That's different levels.
You don't have to be in a thong and some booty shorts or Daisy Dukes. Taping your phones to the ceiling
you
and
can
every
wear
which
that
way
stuff
angle
when you want
can.
to, but you don't have to post it to Instagram with your butt on there.
Right.
You don't have to do that.
You want to wear your little Daisy Duke shorts and your thong.
You can do that stuff. Been going on since the 90s, forever. It's fine to dress provocative. Nobody's saying that. But do you have to post your butt shaking every day online?
I think I am not for the policing of women and women's bodies. I think that happens a lot without our consent, without our invitation.
That's real.
Exactly.
I also believe that people have to learn that the things that they do come with consequences, and consequences can be good or bad.
That's real.
Right? So do you?
Exactly.
But just understand that there's going to be something that comes on the back end of this. You may want it, you may not.
That's real.
And if it's something that you don't want, then just do better. Right? Just do you. Do you, be happy, but be intentional and purposeful about what you're doing.
Exactly.
If there's a type of attention you want, unfortunately, we live in a world where likes and quote unquote internet fame somehow feels avoiding people's lives, where they're like, okay, fine, I am significant, I matter because people are watching my videos. So there's that element to it too, right?
Definitely.
It fills the need for the people that need that. I'm not going to judge you for getting what you need to do or getting what you need for yourself.
Right.
That's not my role. It's not for me. But you know, we are living at a time right now where almost every moment of our lives is documented on social media.
That's real.
And for young women specifically, something that you may be doing right now because it's cute, in 10, 20 years time, you may not necessarily agree with it. Think about all the people who were posting how their parents were freaking out about the Freaknik documentary. You know, like when your mom was on that car,
right?
It was amazing.
We saw a whole bunch of mamas and grandmas out there in them on them cars.
It was litty. You know, but now she's now, you know, Miss Mavis from church.
Right.
You know, she's no longer May on the car. She's now Miss Mavis from church.
Right.
So there are definitely repercussions to having things like that about your life specifically being documented online. Please be smart about what you're sharing online, because once it's on the internet,
it's there forever.
It is there forever. Right? It's there forever, and you don't know whose hands it's going to land in and how that may reflect on you.
That's real.
Because they can download it, screenshot it, screen record it. They can do whatever. You may delete the original post, but somebody may have already taken the post and kept it for themselves.
Right. And if you are the kind of person that lives with any kind of guilt or shame about your past, that's going to eat you up, and it's going to definitely impact your quality of life. Real. But if you're the kind of person that can just own it and keep it moving, God bless you. You know, do you. Like, we can't assume that everyone looks at risk and potential negative consequences the same way. There'll be people that'll be like, yes, I did, and I had a great time. Now what?
Right.
You know, I love that for those people. But if it's going to make you shrink at a time where you don't need it to, and you may not know that right now when you're doing these things.
Right.
So just err on the side of caution.
I also want to make sure that people think about these type things. Jobs are looking more and more into people's social media backgrounds. They're looking at what you're doing. If all your pictures is just showing your butt, that may be a job that you just lost, because it's you're putting yourself. No one's going to hire you. That's what you have.
You basically have to look at social media as an advertising platform.
Yeah,
this is how you are advertising yourself to the world.
That's real.
This could be a potential business partner, collaborator. Anything that you want to do that may make you money. This platform is going to be your biggest advertiser.
That's it. It's going to be the most eyes. And you got to think, man, I would say the same thing for a gentleman. The dude, he's always got his shirt off. Every picture he's in, he's shirt off. He's got no clothes on. He's selling his body. If you're not being a physical trainer, if you're not trying to go into that
fitness,
in that fitness realm, what are you doing this for? You have to think about some of the repercussions of what you're doing. I don't care what you are, male, female, it doesn't matter. You have to think about what you're doing and what you're selling and how you're putting it out there. Because like I said, people are going to look at you. They're going to form opinions on you by those things that they see. And that's what they're going to think of you. If you want to be something more than your body, then you may want to think twice about what you're posting.
Yeah. So as you're talking, two thoughts came to mind. First thought being that the future of work is going to look very different for Gen Alphas.
We got a caller.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
Hello?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, am I live?
You are live, bro.
I'm live on air. Oh, snap. First and foremost, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Damon Dip Ellison and Miss Iesha Rower. I really love what you guys are doing out there, bringing us the news and everything like that. It's much needed, much needed.
Thank you.
Shout out to that little giant voice you be hearing in the background too. That little youngster, whoever. But I think it's really cool too with your oh man, I forget her name right now. Sorry, I'm driving. But what the guest is doing, I like that she's getting out there and getting the businesses straight, making sure everybody doing what they need to do. You know, there's not a lot of women out there that are taking that role. And you know, it's nice. I'm always a big advocate of female boss in the workplace. You know, there's not enough of them. Enough of them.
That's real, bro. That's why she's amazing person, and we want everyone to see what she's doing, and like I said, to get inspired by a person that's a leader. You know, she's a leader, man, and it's so many people who try to start their own companies, but they don't go and get educated to be able to make the right moves and to be able to make the educated moves to help their companies or help themselves in the future. It's really dope that she did that. What did you think? What you think about the girls posting provocative videos online?
Oh man, that's all bad. I mean, if we're being real about it, they're just attention whores, you know.
Yeah.
Iesha does make a good point. You guys do make a good point about, like, you know, social media has become like a open journal almost. You know, like there's a lot of things that are going to be doing what you're putting up on social media, especially nowadays. You never know. It's like a first impression kind of thing. You never know who you're meeting. You never know who's going to see. But also, too, you know, like it goes both ways. If that's what you want to do, if you want to have your OnlyFans and you want to be an Instagram model, you know, and that's the person you want to be, then do you.
Right.
But I understand what she's saying as well, or I understand what you guys are saying as well. Like, you got to also think about the future a little bit.
Yeah, you got to think about, you know, your kids may see this one day. You know, what your grandkids may see this one day. A lot of girls, I see a lot of girls, you know, who are in professional situations, and then their kids' friends see their post, and they come to them talking about, "Oh, I seen your mom online." How do you think that kid? How do you think that kid feels?
Right.
Do you think about how embarrassed you used to be just when your mother came to school with rollers on?
Right.
She had the rollers in that
in the bathroom,
the rollers
and the bonnet.
and the coat.
Yeah, right. You wanted to end your life,
right?
Man.
You did not want to see your mama come up there in her muumuu and some rollers.
That's real.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Somebody come up to you, your mom was the only
right. Now, how would that feel, man? They didn't find your mom on OnlyFans. Think about your kids, man.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy because it's like you said, they wouldn't be seeing the rollers now. They'd be seeing mama in lingerie,
right.
Got the booty shorts all up in the butt crack.
Right.
Like this is Joey's mom.
Exactly.
That's Joey's mom, man. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to think about those things, man, and if you can hide it, if it's maybe a private page that you have, only certain people getting access to it, but that's not usually how it is. It's like old girl said, it's a story, and if you go across the stories, it's a million girls showing their butt. Yep. So it's crazy, man. All right, we'll talk to you later, bro. We appreciate you calling in. You know, you got Wealth for Generations coming up in a few moments. Is anybody you guys gonna have in there today?
No, we had to do a reschedule today. We had a beautician and a barber coming in, or not a beautician, but a hairdresser and a barber coming in. But they had a family emergency.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Reschedule. But you guys still going live though, right?
Yeah, we're still going live. I'm headed in right now. We'll be talking about just weird, since I've been missing the wacky wealth. To kind of do an episode dedicated to wacky wealth. And we're going to give a few shout outs, going over a few things that have been going well for Wealth for Generations the last month or so, with the newer connection with the Live Ride guys and the Boss Ambitions and Who I Am Foundation.
Yeah,
we got the guest spot at their on location event. You know.
Yeah, man. You guys are building, man. Like you said, we're building, boy. That's what y'all doing over there, and we really appreciate y'all, man. And we'll see you in a little bit, bro.
Alrighty.
Thanks, bro.
Talk to you,
for
no
sure.
problem. Later.
So Elijah calling in for Wealth Generations. You can call in, man, and talk to us, man, anytime you want to. The phone number should be coming across the bottom of the screen.
I try to reach for the mouse. Try to reach for the mouse.
What you been smoking, bro? Come on.
No sleep. That's what I've been
run the thing at the bottom of the screen, please, for people can know where to call us. But anyway, yeah. For you,
let me just say this though. I did run it a couple times this episode already, so just not on command.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do that. But yeah, that's the number right there. Give us a call in if you want. If you have a opinion about what we're talking about and what we're discussing, give a call in, and we'll have you live on there. We appreciate that. So, like we were saying though, the main thing that we wanted to get over on this is that that women have to think about other people and when they're posting these things. And I know it's fun to get into these little what they're doing online, and everybody's doing the challenges that everybody's doing, the Megan Thee Stallion challenge, and it's fun. I understand that, but you have to also think about that that the sexualized content on social media platforms, it can bring up some concerns, and sometimes it can diminish respect for you. If you're trying to get a man, I promise you, this is not the way to go, because that man is not looking at you as a woman for his future to have kids with.
Not only that,
but he's looking for a fun night.
Right,
is
a
what
one
he's
night
looking
stand.
at. Right. I mean, that's what he's looking at.
But in the same sense, I have also seen cases where children have been kicked out of their private schools.
Yeah, because
their parents have these types of accounts and are posting this type of content.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, because it could become a distraction to the other students, because when the students find out about it, now they're showing the pictures online, talking about your mom.
Yeah,
it's
a
problem.
Not only what you are doing may hurt you, it may also hurt your children's ability to get their education in a decent manner.
Man, we've seen girls who have posted these pictures and posting online, trying to get attention, lose their kids, lose their relationships, lose everything because they want to post their boobs and ass on TV. I mean, online. Lose the kids. The dude gets the kids because you're provocative and you want to be online posting these pictures. The judge is not going to go towards you. I'm sorry. You're going to lose, especially if this man is taking care of his business, working and doing what he has to do. The kids is going to him. You can keep on posting your boobs online. That's fine.
Okay, but realistically, though, what are the chances of someone that is doing a booty challenge online being paired with someone that actually has their life together as well?
In this situation that I'm thinking of, it happened.
It happened.
But it's you're right. It's most situations, most people are not going to go with it. But if your significant other just start acting like this one day, because she got a little attention from a couple of her pictures, and then she's if I show more, I get more attention.
Oh, that's tough.
It's people who are making decisions like this, and it's hurting relationships, because men are like, hey, I don't want you posting these pictures. Then they call you, they say that you have a confidence problem because you don't want your woman posting pictures online of her butt.
Oh wow.
And then it's like you're not confident. You just trying to woman running body. You don't trust your woman. Is because maybe I just don't want my woman posting her butt online.
Can we zoom out though for a second? Because this thought just crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What is the socioeconomic impact in what's happening, right? Because now people have found that trending media or social media posts can make them money. So a lot of people may not necessarily be focused on just shaking their butts, but getting traction to their accounts, so they can monetize their accounts.
Yeah.
So for them, mind you,
it's all a business.
It's all a business, right? It's like, so if your partner is upset that you're doing it, and to you it is just a business, it's
a disconnect.
There's a disconnect.
Maybe you used to find a person who's okay with that. Right. But the relationships that I'm not saying it's 100%.
Yeah.
The relationships that I have seen where the couple is open like that, both of them posting their bodies online, those relationships haven't lasted long.
Oh, wow.
Now, just for me looking on the outside, I'm not saying that every one of them, but they usually run into problems because of the attention that both of the couple is getting, which is negative attention.
Yeah.
Because when they're posting their bodies, oh, you're sexy, oh, you're fine. That's what men and women are saying under these things.
Mm-hmm.
So when a man sees that from his woman and woman, it becomes issues.
It creates tension.
The ego, one person's ego gets higher than the other because maybe one person is getting more likes and getting more attention. Then it starts becoming a problem and tension start growing up between these people. There's different things that you can run into when you think, oh, it's going to be easy. But what if the guy start getting a whole bunch of girls under his, oh, you so fine, you're fine, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Then the girl will start thinking, oh, you messing with them, you doing this, you
then
doing
the jealousy
that.
start coming
Right.
in. Right. So it's many more levels to this that you can get into, and it can hurt you, man. So you try to think of everything.
Yeah.
And
to be clear, I'm not condoning people shaking their butts online for likes. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely other ways
Definitely.
to get popular.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You don't necessarily have to show your butt online, but if you want to do that, just understand that there are for every action, there's going to be a reaction,
That's
right?
real.
So understand the reaction part of what you're doing, and just be intentional about what you're doing online.
That's real.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. And you're a very, very intelligent lady, so you can tell these other ladies out here, you know what I mean, what's going on. I mean, for real, man, it's sometimes they just need to hear it from other people that are going different directions. You don't have to go the same direction that somebody else. Everybody doesn't have to be a sex worker, man.
No.
You can be an intelligent person going to college for something that is business orientated. You don't have to do hair and nails. You don't have to do the same things that everybody else is doing. Go out and try to do something different. Don't pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah.
You're intelligent. More you women out here are intelligent than most of these dudes. And a lot of you guys are getting a lot of education. But the problem is that the education that we are getting is in healthcare, and that's in the lower levels of healthcare. We need to aim higher. Get higher, get better degrees. We don't have to just do the CNAs and the home healthcare jobs. We can do other things, man. And that's just me looking at some of the things that's going on. But it was a good conversation, though. I know we can go on for this for hours, but let's go ahead and go into the hot mess, bro.
Oh, that was not the hot mess.
There's more. Okay.
Get ready for the week's Hollywood Hot Mess with Iesha Rowan. Sponsored by
no one. But if you would like to sponsor us, our email is info@habarientertainment.com. All right. So today I just we have a few topics we're going to talk about. But first, let's just go ahead and talk about O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as we all know, he passed away this week at the age of 76 from cancer.
Oh.
His family posted on X on April 10th that our father, Orenthal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. And as you know, the rumors that he had been diagnosed with cancer or prostate cancer surfaced in February of this year.
Really?
But Simpson's death comes after several high-profile figures, chiefly King Charles III, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, were both diagnosed with prostate cancer in the past several months. But here's the thing. Prostate cancer is the second most form of cancer in the U.S., accounting for 15% of new cancers diagnosed each year, according to the National Cancer Institute. Aside from skin cancer, it is the most common form of cancer among men, and 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed at some point in their lives. Wow. The American Cancer Society says that the prostate is a small gland that sits between the bladder and the rectum in men, and it produces a fluid that helps keep sperm cells healthy and lubricates the urethra, which is the tube through which men both urinate and ejaculate.
So that's what I do. I think it was a joke, but a guy said a man needs to jack off 21 times in a month to help themselves from prostate cancer. That's what he was. I don't know how real it was because I just kept scrolling, but I've seen that a couple times where the guy was saying that. So you saying that makes a little bit more sense.
More sense because you don't want it to just dry out.
Right. So, and you also,
dry out.
You have
just
to drink.
Dry some eggs.
We have to drink more water, man, and that's probably one of the things that's a problem. And drinking alcohol is probably an issue also.
It's age. Age is the number one factor for men to that are getting prostate cancer.
But age can't be. This
80% of men age 80 and over
I understand.
will have had some form of prostate cancer by the time they're 80 years old.
But this wasn't a problem 20 years ago, though.
Well, was it not a problem, or was
we weren't aware of the problem?
We weren't aware of the problem.
Why wouldn't we be aware of it? We was doing the same studies. I don't remember this being a big deal like it is now.
Each type of cancer they find.
We knew of prostate cancer in the 90s and the early 2000s. This is not a new find.
But also think about the trend of how older men tend to not go to the doctor.
Exactly.
I think younger men tend to go to the doctor more often than our grandparents did, and even you guys don't go to the doctor enough.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
see, exactly part of the problem.
So they can't document it if you're not showing up.
But
exactly.
I don't know. It just seems like it's been becoming more of a big issue in the last decade or so.
It's been prostate cancer, colorectal cancer,
That's
and
what I'm
breast
saying.
cancer. Those are the three types
and
that
they're
are
on the rise.
On the rise.
Exactly.
But that's because not a lot of us are getting
younger.
We're not getting screenings.
But babe, you can't say that when younger and younger people are getting it. Something is going on.
If you have a history, if someone in your family has had a history of a specific cancer,
right,
that makes your risk rise higher.
I understand that.
Which means since you have this risk because someone else in your family had it, you need to take proactive preventative measures, which means going to the doctor once a year, getting your preventative screenings every year.
All right. I have to do a little bit more study on this because, like I said, to me, it seems like it's a rise in these issues. And
what are we doing to prevent
we're
it?
ignoring that, and we just keep on saying, "Oh, let's just have more screenings."
But the more screenings you get, the earlier you're going to find you're going to find it.
100% get that.
Then that way you can treat it earlier.
But there is something has to be going on with our diet or what we're eating or what we're doing in our lifestyle that is leading us toward this, and that's what I keep speaking about.
We're eating more meat than we used to. A lot more.
Something is going on.
Yeah. So there's actually room for both arguments in this debate, right? You're right. There is the food element definitely has something to do with it. I think people are also taking a lot more medications than in previous generations that may have something to do with it. The quality of our air is also just something that's super concerning for some people, right? And then there's the genetic piece of it. And are people even going to get screened? So all these three things could just be coming up, and
they're just bottlenecking.
And now we're just seeing
more and more cases.
Seeing more and more cases because we now have generations that have been eating processed foods.
Right.
We have generations that have been medicated since they were children.
Right.
And I think they were saying like something like 150 million Americans are taking metformin.
What's metformin?
Metformin is a medication that is used to treat diabetes.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Why are they taking that?
To lose weight. No, they're trying to use it to lose weight.
They're trying to use this metformin. Metformin is a diabetic drug, but it may also help you lose weight because it is an appetite suppressant.
Right. So people are using it that way. And some of the drugs are going, instead of saying they're diabetic.
But we're using Americans are using more and more medications each year to treat their problems instead of treating the root cause.
Oh yeah. We're
the
so
dietary.
Right. Yeah. And that's what my main thing that I'm trying to get to.
We're having more and more, like she said, more and more processed foods. Like it's been 3 or 4 generations now that have been processed meats, processed foods. Yeah. So that could also, what are they? It's the chemicals that are there putting in the food to make it shelf sustainable.
Yeah. Something is going on. That's all I know. I mean, we have to realize that I mean, we eat so much of this food. We have to hold them accountable for the messes they are making in the country. I mean, they are rising the healthcare prices because people are obese. Then the health, the heart disease, high blood pressure. Now you start adding on cancers. come on, man. We need to tell these people with the product. I know we can just stop eating the product, but obviously that's not going to happen because people just keep going. So if we have to hold them accountable for what they're doing, and I don't know if America would ever go down that route because we're slow to take out foods and drugs and dyes and all type things that are bad for us in other countries and other places in the world. They've banned it, and we still have it in the food here. You know, it's so many products that's like that, and we won't change anything. So what else you got?
I think it's wild too, like with the conversation around food, when you look at how it all connects, right? So the agricultural industry sells you your food in the grocery store. And then you have the processed food industry, which really is counterproductive to you actually just having whole foods. Just eat whole foods, but whole foods are more expensive than processed foods. And if most people can barely afford to pay for rent, food is going to be something that they actually cut costs on. But the processed food that you're eating is making you sick, which then makes you then attached to this healthcare system that is really designed to keep treating you versus actually healing you. And it's just all connected. Like we live in a world that is designed to make us sick so we can make the healthcare industry more money by buying processed food, which makes BlackRock and everybody else more money. And it's wild when you look at it that way.
Yeah, man, it's a whole mess. And you would think that we would do more to try to push these things because our healthcare prices keeps getting more and more astronomical.
Yeah.
And the only way to combat the cost of healthcare is to look at the root cause. The doctors are doing nothing but prescribing more and more medications.
Yep, that's all they do.
For all these different varieties of diseases, the varieties of health issues, right? And then people aren't able to afford their medication. So what are people doing? They're saying, okay, I can't afford my medication, so I'm going to not eat as much, which attacks your immune system, which attacks your metabolism, because you're not eating properly. So now you're stuck in this loop of I'm sick all the time, but you're not feeding your body the nutritions that you need.
Yeah, let's go on to the next story, though. We can get up out of here.
All right, so The Golden Bachelor. I don't know if you guys watch reality or keep up with that. I don't either. No. But I thought this was interesting because they're saying that The Golden Bachelor star Teresa Niss, her job played a factor
in them breaking up
in her divorce.
Okay.
Sources are saying that Teresa had an established career as a compliance officer in New Jersey, and she grappled with the idea of leaving her job to move to either Indiana or South Carolina with her husband. And he, was like, okay, well, this is what we can do as a solution to you having to leave and moving here or here with me. And his solution was to split their time. So she would spend 6 weeks in Jersey and then 6 weeks in either Indiana or South Carolina, whichever they selected for her, for them to move to, right? But she's like, I can't do it. I can't split my time. I can't do this. I'm 70 years old. I can't find another job in another state. It's just going to be too hard for me to do anything. So let's just break up.
What does the husband do? Do we know?
They didn't say what he did.
Okay.
But it was mostly her. The way all of the stories are coming out, it's mostly her decision as to the reason why the marriage is ending is because she does not want to leave her job. She does not want to basically retire. You're 70 years old, lady.
Right. I was going to say that they're both older because that's why he was called the Golden Bachelor.
That's why he was called the Golden Bachelor because they were both older. So
I guess my question is, why didn't we have this conversation before we decided to get on The Bachelor?
Man.
Exactly.
But I think most of these people be getting on these shows for fame, and they think these things are last that they're getting married. That's not even their problem. They're hoping to get famous. That's their number one objective, and that falls.
And she got that, and then she turned around and said, "Well, I don't want to move to a small town."
Yeah.
And I don't want to try to find work in another small town at 70 years old.
Well, that's the reason why she's been single probably her
whole life.
because she don't want to sacrifice anything for her relationships. Everybody has to make a decision when you're in a relationship.
Exactly. And he was offering to split his time to go back and forth so that way.
So that's the reason why I asked what he does, right? Because like, okay, so if she can't move for her career, could he have moved? Number one, if splitting the time did not work, okay, cool. But why didn't they have this conversation before they got here? Because if I remember correctly with The Bachelor, there's like a whole elimination process.
Yeah.
You're dating people, right? And
exactly.
It's in that dating phase that you're supposed to be asking these type of questions.
Right. Exactly.
Like, hey, if we get married, what is your expectation?
If I end up with you,
right.
Will you move? Will you do this? Will you make changes to make
what
this
the finance is going to look like?
Right.
Am I going to have to quit my job?
No, they just worried about winning the show. That's all they're worried about. But and then after that, they're like, oh, let's work it out.
Now we have actual real life to go back to.
Isn't that reflective of how people date outside of the show too, though? A lot of people date based on assumptions about what their future is going to look like with their partner and don't actually have real conversations. Like, hey, if we got married today, I don't like washing dishes. You want to take care of dishes?
Right.
That I'll clean.
Right.
Like, these conversations don't happen until you move in with someone. At that point, honestly, 9 out of 10 is actually kind of late, especially if you're not aligned.
That's real.
But people take a gamble like that.
And that goes to levels. When you're just having sex, you need to talk about things about how do you feel about the kid? Where do you think the kid, if we have one, what do you think is going to do?
Right.
Are you against abortion or for abortion?
Yeah.
These are things you should talk about
while you're dating.
While you're dating, or even before you have sex, because you don't know where she stands, and she's like, "I'm having this baby," and you're like, what?
No.
Well, you should have talked to her about
those
that,
conversations are conversations you need to have within the first 30 days of dating.
For sure.
You need to.
That needs to happen within the first month.
For sure.
You need to be having those conversations.
Active, then you need to talk about it even faster.
Yep. Especially if you live in Arizona, because now you can't have an abortion.
Right. You can't have an abortion until November. You're probably having it in this situation unless you go to California.
Yeah.
So you got another one?
Yeah, we do.
Come on.
Okay, I can't get over the fact that what is O.J. Simpson's O name? Ozarian?
Orenthal.
Orenthal.
Yeah. Orenthal Jones.
Good Lord. Old English name.
Wow. Yes. All right. So lastly, I want to talk about Jeezy. Because you guys know Jeezy and his old lady, Jeannie Mae.
Oh, the rapper.
The rapper.
Like, I'm like, who's Jeezy? Okay, go ahead.
They have been going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Horrible.
Another divorce case, right? Oof. But, Jeezy is now asking for sole custody of their daughter, who's 2 years old. And he's claiming that Jeannie's not even taking care of the kid herself, which is what the agreement was originally supposed to be.
Right.
The original agreement was that he moved into the basement, she stayed above, and she would take care of the kids and all this and all that. But according to his filings, she has literally put childcare off on her brother and her mother.
Okay.
So her brother and mother are the only ones that's really taking care of the kids while she's out doing whatever. And he's like, yeah, there's no her time, her being away is just not conducive to what our daughter needs. And I would like to be able to go ahead and take over that role because I can do that. I can be
when she's not busy,
right?
She can be go with her mother.
Exactly. And another thing he's saying is that in the past 2 months, she's been withholding his childcare time from him.
Oh, that's not normal.
So she's, my brother and my mom has her. You can't get her. You can't get her.
Yeah, that's not
but it's my time. You can't get her. And she's been kind of holding that back from him.
She definitely will lose on that.
So to me, she should have just stuck with the original agreement. Y'all lived in two separate parts of the house and y'all could have just.
She didn't want to do that though.
Figured it out.
That's so weird. So they have scheduled childcare time even though they live in the same house?
No, they don't anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
She moved out. She moved out and left him in the house. And now since she's moved out, she's not doing the childcare. Her brother and her mother is doing the childcare.
And so
while she's out.
Okay.
Doing her thing.
Is he gonna be the only one taking care of the kid when the kid is with him, or is he going to get childcare as well, like help with childcare?
I would think he has.
I think he would have a nanny
or something,
but
he's around more.
He's going to be stationary and be able to be more in her day-to-day activities than her mom, because mom is just
on
tour or whatever
she's gone
modeling or whatever she's doing, right?
It's just unfortunate though that it's the kid that suffers when stuff like this
happens. Exactly.
Sad.
So I mean, it's just another thing of you just gotta pick. You just gotta have a better picker of who you want to have your kids with.
They look so happy though, man.
Just pick better.
It's so weird.
I mean,
you never know, man.
I just remember that when news came out that he was marrying her, there was a clip of her saying that basically Black men were just good for dating and sex and not necessarily marriage.
Oh, yeah,
and
it was. Like, she did say that.
She said that. So, and I get it. People change, opinions shift and whatnot. But alas, this is just very unfortunate for the poor kid.
Yeah, man.
They just need to do better for the baby.
I wish people would try to, figure things out before they bring kids into situations, but we don't do that. So that's the way it works out.
I mean, in this case, I would rather see the child have more stability in her day-to-day than, having such an extensive travel schedule and being bounced between mom and uncle every so often. Then I'm with dad all the time. And
well, I mean, she's supposed to be with dad all the time if she's not with mama. It's not brother and
not uncle and grandma.
Right. That's not the way it goes. So they definitely have to figure that out, because that's not the way it goes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me that if you have a child with someone and you're not able to be there for the kid, it just automatically makes sense for the dad to have the kid.
Right.
What are we doing?
It's she's like, I guess she's gonna fight it and don't want the girl with him at all. So we'll see, man. See, I gotta put teddy bear clothes on, as y'all see out here.
Oh, it's a very cute doll. I'm for the fro.
I've had to do it already before, and as you can tell, she done turned her t-shirt inside out.
What are you doing out there?
It's like,
she said she having fun.
Just being a little human.
That's your last one?
Yeah, that was my last one.
Sports,
we got the
bro.
Sports, comics, and the game, and we out of here. Whoop, whoop.
These are always quick, so.
Habari Sports.
Man, the Suns barely won last night, 107-108. It was a great game though, man. We have to keep coming back. Sacramento really fought. It was a nail-biting finish. It looks like we're going to be in the play-in, because we're hoping that the Pelicans, I think if they lose one game, it'll be a tie, and I think we have the tiebreak. I'm not 100% on that. But last night matchup against the Sacramento Kings, the Phoenix Suns delivered a heart-pounding performance that kept fans on the edge of their seat until the final buzzer. With both teams fighting tooth and nail for a crucial win, every position mattered in this pivotal contest. The Kings have been on kind of a losing run though, but we're looking a lot better in this situation that we are at least getting the wins. But it looks like we're going to be in the play-in tournament regardless of what though, and that's kind of whack. So the win couldn't have come at a better time though for the Suns, who, like I said, find themselves in a tight race versus the Pelicans. And the Pelicans, they keep winning, man. They're just winning right now. Your boy Zion is really looking good, man. He's looking like a top pick. He's looking unstoppable, man. And the Pelicans are playing well. So it's going to be tough. I think we're in the 7th spot, where we probably playing like Golden State or something like that in the play-in. So we have to get ready, man. We do have the Timberwolves coming up. I think it's tomorrow. The Timberwolves are in the 3-way tie right now for first place with OKC and Denver. So Minnesota may want to play hard on this last game and get that win, for they can have home court throughout the Western Conference playoffs. No one's going to get it past Boston. Boston, I think they only lost like 17 games this year, so they're almost unbeatable this year. So we'll see what happens, man. I haven't given up 100% on the Suns, but I'm like 60% there, man. We're not looking too good. I don't like the way we're playing. Maybe when we get in the playoffs, it'll look a little different. But the way we're playing, man, the turnovers, the defense is not really stellar. I don't see us going far in the playoffs right now. But like I said, things could turn around once the playoffs come in and we could start playing well. We'll see what happens from the Suns aspect. Also in Arizona sports news, we have the Coyotes saying that they're moving. So it doesn't look like the deal's going to go through. They were talking about buying land in North Scottsdale. They were looking forward to an auction of that land, and if they were the highest bidder, then they was going to go ahead and build the stadium in North Scottsdale off the 101. But it looks like they've already made the decision that they're moving. Maybe they have some information that they're going to lose this bid. I don't know for sure, but the players have already been told that they're moving to Utah, which is kind of crazy. Utah has only had one sports team forever, and now they will have two. So maybe they'll have something else to do in Utah. But hockey in Utah, it fits more than it does in the desert. I'm not going to lie to you. It just sounds more, it just fits better. Utah, you know what I mean? They'll have to change the name from the Coyotes. But I think this team is they came from Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, they will not be building the stadium, and they will be moving out of Arizona to go to Utah. So that's sad news for some people who care about hockey, just not me. But anyway, let's go to the comic book corner, bro.
Comic Book Corner, sponsored by
the tragedy that strikes in X-Men 97, episode 5, Genosha Massacre, claimed a lot of lives, man. With Cable being in the episode, you know, this may all be turned back because it looks like he's coming back and forth through time trying to stop this from happening. But we don't know. It may be real. The devastating turn of events in X-Men 97 season 1 episode 5, titled Remembered It, plunges the viewers into a harrowing tale of loss and devastation as the infamous Genosha Massacre unfolds. The episode, which hints at the impending tragedy from its onset, delivers a gut-wrenching narrative as innocent mutants fall victim to a brutal attack by powerful sentinels. Yeah, they wasn't playing, man. The highly anticipated episode, Remember It, takes a dark turn as Magneto, Rogue, Gambit journey to Genosha to forge an alliance and protect the mutant nation. However, their hopes are shattered when the island comes under a relentless assault by a swarm of formidable sentinels, leaving a trail of destruction and death in their wake. Among the casualties are several beloved characters, each meeting their demise in a heartbreaking and poignant ways. Gambit, in a selfless attack of heroism, sacrifices himself to stop the massacre, ultimately falling victim to the relentless onslaught. His death marks a somber moment for fans. They build farewell. He'll be back, man. I doubt if they keep this all the way, but Magneto also died. We had some people from the Morlocks died. So a lot of people passed away in this. Callista, and the Leech dude from the Morlocks. So man, it was a pretty powerful episode, man. We'll see what they do. I doubt if it stays this way, but we'll see. I thought it was a very good episode, man. The best so far. But man, this season has been worth the wait, man. It's been 30 years since we waited, but it's been worth it, man, because it's really been really good. Let's go ahead and do the game, Jimmy, before we can get up out of here, bro.
Let's get ready to play trivia for Loot, sponsored by
All right. In Trivia for Loot, we got a total of 10 questions.
Okay.
If you get 7 out of the 10 correct, we will get you a Habari Entertainment t-shirt.
Ooh.
All right. Ready?
I don't know. Let's go.
All right. Question number 1. Who is often considered the father of modern business coaching?
Ooh. My brain immediately goes to sweet Jesus. Tony Robbins comes to mind for some reason. I could be wrong. Or why am I blanking out on this man's name? He has a whole bunch of training courses named after him too. Okay, I'm gonna pause on this one. Can I pause?
No,
I just failed.
Right or wrong.
You guys are harsh. I'm pretty sure I was wrong. Tony Robbins came to mind, but Sir John Whitmore. Oh, the Grow Model.
Oh, I never heard of it.
I actually use the Grow Model is goal, reality, opportunities or options, and way forward.
Wow.
So every coaching session should actually use. I know his model apparently,
wow,
but I forgot his name. But yeah, every coaching session just because of the context real quick. There are so many online coaches right now in the coaching space, and I really think that coaching needs to be regulated because just because you've experienced something does not necessarily make you a coach. Right? Let's just get you can be a mentor, you can be an advisor, but a coach is a whole different thing. But yeah, every coaching session should have an element of the Grow Model in it. If you're not talking about a goal, if you're not discussing your current reality, your opportunities or your options and how to move forward, that was not a coaching conversation. That was just a catch-up session.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Which famous consulting firm developed the BCG matrix?
I hate that you guys have these questions. What? BCG. For some, I'm thinking Boston Group for some reason because of BCG. I could be wrong. A famous consulting firm.
BCG matrix.
I'm gonna go with Boston Consulting or Boston Group.
Yeah.
Boston Consulting Group.
There we go. Thank you.
Woo! Which is a strategic management tool used for portfolio analysis.
Yeah. SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yep. We have that in my position. Most jobs have SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
We also have to do a SWOT analysis of our company.
If you have a business, you should definitely have a SWOT analysis for your business because you need to know what's going on outside and what's happening inside.
Yes, you do. Okay. Who authored the influential book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Stephen Covey.
Okay.
I've read that book at least 4 times.
That's dope.
What is the primary focus of executive coaching?
Okay, this is not going to have a yes/no response. I think it's very okay. Primary focus can be anything from strategy, to leadership, to just overall organizational health. But executive coaching has to have an element of strategy in it because most executives deal with strategy. So I'm going to go with any one of those 3. I could be wrong. I don't know what you have on
Executive coaching primarily focuses on enhancing leadership skills, improving decision-making,
strategy,
and achieving professional goals for executives and senior leaders.
Yeah, I'm going to give it that one.
All right. Thank you. I'm like, there's no like word for word response for it, but this is what it needs to encompass. Yeah.
All right. In consulting, what does ROI stand for?
Rate of... Why am I blanking out on ROI? I'm so mad at this. I know this. It's rate of... Why am I blanking out on the I? I hate this for myself. Can I get a clue?
No, and it's different than the business ROI, right? It's not?
It's the same.
It's the same.
ROI is ROI.
Oh, well.
No, wait. It's not rate of return. Rate of interest. Rate of I.
Return on investment.
Return on investments. It's a measure used to evaluate the efficiency or profitability of an investment.
This is embarrassing because I know that term. I know what this
gap
is.
Analysis.
What is the purpose of a gap analysis in business consulting?
A gap analysis is really just understanding where your client is, where they need to go, and what needs to happen in the middle.
Bridge that gap.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
That's it.
Used to assess the disparity between current performance and desired goals, helping businesses identify areas of improvement.
That's real.
Who coined the term emotional intelligence, which is going to go out to EI or EQ?
EQ. I've read the book. Can't tell you who the author is. So I'm just gonna womp myself on this one. Daniel Goleman
popularized the concept in his book Emotional Intelligence, published in 1995.
Definitely recommended reading for every manager.
It's crazy that most of this stuff is fairly new. You know, that most of the
80s, 90s.
Yeah, it's not something that was done in the 70s and 60s. That most of this stuff is fairly new. It's kind of crazy that they didn't care about those things back then.
Right.
But I mean, it's smart that we are caring more about these things as we move forward because
as a society,
yeah, it's very important. These things are important.
The wild part, though, is a lot of the research that went into understanding how people function within organizations can actually be used for how to function as a human outside of work as well. So honestly, if you want to get your emotional intelligence up, EQ2 is a book that's recommended basic reading for every MBA major and most managers. As a regular person, you can learn so much from understanding what your level of emotional intelligence is and how to actually make it better. So yeah, definitely recommended reading. I just couldn't remember who the author was. My bad.
That's big.
What is the main goal of organizational development consulting?
I like to call it understanding the humaning part of an organization. So how do things work? So things like processes, things like onboarding, things like rewards and recognition, like all those little pieces that make an organization work on the inside versus just output and production for the outside. That's what OD basically does.
Yes, it is. Organizational development consulting aims to improve organizational effectiveness and efficiency through strategic interventions such as culture change initiatives and team development programs.
That is such a professional way to say that.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Did you get it wrong?
Yeah, no. She got it right.
Oh, okay.
It's what I do. It would be embarrassing if I got this wrong. Like, are you even legit right now? We don't believe you need more people.
Okay. Last and final question.
Yeah.
What does SMART stand for in goal setting methodology?
Tag me in, coach. I'm getting my t-shirt right because I'm at 7 right now, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Bet. So SMART. Having a SMART goal does not mean that your goal is clever. No. It needs to be specific. It needs to be measurable. It needs to be attainable. I like to use having an attainable action plan. So I don't care that you can attain your goal. I want to know that you have an action plan to actually achieve that goal. So specific, measurable, attainable action plan, relevant, and timed. If your goal is not timed, it is just a wish, it is a dream, it is not a goal.
Yes.
That's big. Yeah, so it looks like you're going to be sending out a t-shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Run me my shirt.
It's the first winner in a long time. Might be the first winner this season.
I'm sad. I'm sad
man.
that I got 3 of these wrong. Like I'm that return on investment really got me upset.
Hey, well, we really appreciate you coming through and talking to us, Dee.
Absolutely.
And teaching us about Nova Consulting.
Thank you.
Can you tell everyone how to contact you if they need your consulting to help their business to move forward, and your website and everything else to communicate with you?
Absolutely. So my website is www.novaconsulting.com. Key thing here to remember is consulting is spelled with an X and not an S. So it's CONX. ULTING. So novaconsulting.com. I actually have a freebie on my website right now. It is a transformation workbook that has SMART goals in it. So feel free to hop on there and get that for yourself. And online, I am Nova Consulting. My page has an IG page. And then as an individual, I have my deconstruction page. So that's just at deconstruction on IG. And I also have a podcast, which actually I'd love to have you guys as guests at some point.
Definitely.
But yeah, so deconstruction for just me, and Nova Consulting, of course, for the business page. But definitely most communication is done through my website, which is www.novaconsulting.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn too. I like meeting people on LinkedIn because I work mostly with businesses and entrepreneurs and business owners, so it just makes more sense. If you are a business owner and you're not on LinkedIn, please make sure that you are getting on LinkedIn. There is such a huge opportunity on there to actually network with people that may actually, that are more likely to pay for your services versus just like your content because it's cute or funny.
Right. That's real.
Yeah.
That is real, man. We need to do a better job to being on LinkedIn. We're there, but we just don't do what we need to do to get more networking and more contacts.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to use that more often. Well, absolutely. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been another episode of Habari Live. We appreciate you a lot for coming through, man, and then showing us your expertise and also winning. Something not many people do here.
It's very stressed. But, I'm an overachiever.
Make sure to subscribe, to like, follow, and to share. Please. We appreciate everybody that's subscribing. And thanks, Jimmy and Iesha. And we are out.
Holla, holla.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to visit www